What is up, locker heads? Welcome to Storage Locker Stories number 8, I believe. Let me just double check. Yep, number 8. This is gonna be where I tell some stories about some creepy rooms, just like this head mannequin over here. She's actually used, believe it or not, for like barbers or hairdressers and hairstylists to practice on when they're in training. But when I opened the room and I saw this inside of the locker, it was really scary at first. I thought it might have been real because I could only see, like, it was dark and I could only see like this. I couldn't even see the bottom, so I could only see like the face, and I got really creeped out. And I usually used to put her over here, but I started putting her back there. Let's put her up here for now. But, so it kind of got me thinking. Let me tell you guys some of the creepiest, the weirdest, and also just bad rooms. Like, not all of them were creepy or weird, but some of them are just bad. But let's start off the list. Well, I guess we'll say that's number 6. It was, a small room. Where was it? It was in Woodhaven, I think. Yeah, it was somewhere. Well, I don't know if it was Woodhaven or not, but it was on Jamaica Avenue somewhere. And it was, she was a hairstylist or something. And like I said, when I opened those, there was like 4 of those in there. And it was really weird and creepy. It ended up not being a great locker either. There was just a bunch of, like, baby toys and stuff that I ended up giving back. There was a bunch of pictures and paperwork as well. I think I paid $110 for the room, and I ended up making like $40 back. And it was just like, everything seemed to be heavy though, because there was so much paperwork. Everything just seemed to be heavy, and it was on the 2nd floor, and the elevator wasn't working that day, so we had to freaking go down the stairs. And then to make no profit on the room was, you know, it's pretty messed up. But like I said, when I opened the bins originally, I thought there was a real head in there. I don't know if you've heard about the stories, but I know a while ago somebody found a dead body. And recently, by me, in Long Island City, somebody found a bunch of dead cats. So that is one thing I'm always scared of, is finding like a dead body or something. Like, I'm scared of the sight of blood. So then, like, the thought of like a dead body or a head or a frozen cat or something like that really freaks me out. And then let's go. Which one are we gonna make number 5? Okay. Oh, by the way, that one wasn't bad, but there's gonna be some stories that might not be suitable for children. So if you have children watching, this is the point where I would cut them off and come back to the next episode, because there's gonna be some lockers that have some inappropriate things that I don't think kids should be listening to. That's my fair warning. Give you guys a few seconds to get the kids out of the room. And let's start with number 5. Or not start, but let's continue with number 5. There's a room. It was in the Stop and Store that I actually used to rent a locker in, and this is where we first started buying units. If you go back to Storage Adventures or Storage Locker Stories number 1, I talked about the 2 rooms we got in there for the first time we ever bought lockers. And we ended up buying we're renting a room in there for a long time. And we hit a really good room. We paid $50 for, and it ended up, it was like $15,000 to $20,000 plus. We found Alyssa's wedding ring, or engagement ring. And so there was a second room, because we heard, when we paid for this room, we heard her talking to the owner, or former owner, who couldn't pay his bills. And it ended up, I found this out through the facility, just because I became very friendly. The owner's parents had passed away, and he had 2 rooms in there, and what do you call it? he was a big drug addict. So he ended up taking all the money from when they passed away and using it on drugs. But he still wanted the stuff. So before he came and took some of the stuff from the other room, because he had paid the smaller room, but the bigger room he didn't pay for. And then the smaller room was going to go up for auction the next month because he didn't have the money to pay. And what do you call it? So we were looking out for this room. And the room we bought looked like it could have been the other room because it was all messy and stuff like that room was. So I bought it. The first bag I opened was this weird like potpourri stuff. I was like, okay. And then there was like some benches. There was like some like small little IKEA furniture. So I'm like, okay, this definitely isn't the same room, but maybe I can make a profit. I opened the biggest bin, expecting maybe something cool. Maybe at least some clothes or this or that. There was like 50 different sexual aids. I'm talking like this big. Like double-sided, all different types of vibrating tools. And it was very, very creepy because I guess it's not creepy, but when you're... You know, when you're buying a storage locker, it's just... you never get used to it. You never... you never get used to it. I mean, the porno is like, okay, everybody has some porn. Or most people have some porn. But, like, I'm not talking like a little personal use, like a little thing. Like some women have and whatever. I'm talking like... I can't even. So, not only that, then we find all like the sexual pleasure like lotions and stuff, and it was very uncomfortable, especially since my dad came to help us out. Me and my dad are pretty close, but it's still a little awkward. So that was interesting. Number 4, I have to say, goes... Oh, this one wasn't really creepy at all, but it was just a horrible locker, and it was my nightmare. We bought it, probably about a year ago now, and everything inside of it was fake. The Nikes were fake. Not even like special edition Nike. Like, I'm talking like straight regular Nikes. The Jordans were fake. The Levi jeans were fake. I don't know. I didn't even know they made fake Levi's. But these Levi's were completely fake. There was shirts, even hats. Everything was fake. And then there was like 1 or 2 bins of what we thought was good stuff. Like, some Walkmans, Walkmans, CD players, I think like a boombox, and a few other things. Almost all of it was broken, and it was like a living nightmare for me, because we paid like $300 or $400, and there was $0 back. So that's number 4, and then number 3 was... This one, me and my boy Trevor. You saw Trevor in one of the other videos, Storage Locker Hauls video. So I get one that's pretty deep in Brooklyn. It's in Brownsville, which isn't the greatest neighborhood. But I worked there for like about 1.5 years at the psychiatric hospital, Kingsborough, and got fired. But we go there, and we saw some pair of sneakers that look like Jordans. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose, boys and girls. Sorry about that. So, we go. The sneakers were like some 99-cent store sneakers. Okay, that's not that bad. There was some good clothing. There was actually a few brand name clothes that were, sellable, whatever. And then as we're pulling that stuff out, the first weird thing we find is like 90 empty pouches of, what are they called? Like K2, like the fake weed. I'm talking about like 90. They're like stack like that big of just the K2 fake weed, but there was none of it, like, it wasn't in there. It was all used. I don't know why you save those, but whatever. And then the biggest, remember, kids, go away. I said that before, but we gotta say it again. The biggest butt plug I have ever seen. Do you remember that? It was like that. I'm not even kidding. And it weighed like 10, 15 pounds. You want to talk about horrifying and weird? Oh my. And then, oh, this one isn't done yet. So, okay, we're going through. You know, me and Trevor obviously joke about it. And then we find a camera. And a nice, really nice flash, a really nice camera. And then we find pictures in a bag. They were all of like strippers in like parking lots naked. I don't even know. It was like creepy too, because the way it was taken, it was like I don't even know. Guys, I don't know why somebody would do this, but it was strippers sitting on like regular cars. It wasn't like there was like a naked stripper on like a Ferrari. It was like a naked stripper on like a 98 Honda Civic. And then we also found there was pictures of this is what he must do as a side hustle in Times Square. He would take the strippers to Times Square and they would take pictures with tourists, because there was other like negatives of that, and there was on the camera there was some, but that creeped me out though. That was very weird, very creepy room. I still have nightmares about it, to be honest with you, because we also saw a mouse in that facility. The facility was gross. Oh, that one was bad. So number 2. This was another. I don't know if it's horrifying, but it was pretty disgusting. I guess you would say, like, nastiest, disgusting. So this is, I'm gonna evaluate the name of this list. I think the name of the list is just gross, weird. You know, all different types of weird rooms. This room was in Treasure Island, which I never will go back to because it was fucking disgusting. I have to tell you, the nastiest facility I've ever been to. It was gross. There was like dead mice in the hallway, and I wish I would have seen that on the auction walk, because I wouldn't have bought anything. Because usually there are. Listen, I've been to clean facilities that have dead mice and stuff, because sometimes whatever happens. But I've never been in a facility to this day. That was actually our first year of doing it. That was actually in our first few months. And from that point to now, which is like 4 years later, I've still yet to see dead mice in the hallway. So only in this place have I ever seen. And then we got in a room. It was a really big room, because I used to buy really big rooms. It was like a 10 by 15, but it was like, there was like an extra 5 feet as well, because the way it was like shaped. So I can't even tell you exactly, because it wasn't shaped like a square. It was like, I don't know, whatever. But oh, this one was fun. First of all, there was like 90-year-old weed in the room, like just sitting on the fucking like dresser top on one of the dressers. It was like moldy. That's how old it's been there, because the bag wasn't even closed. The weed was moldy. And then we find then we find like a short crop top fur coat. And you know, I personally would never buy a fur coat, but this fur coat already exists. I don't, you know, I'm in the business of selling. I would personally never buy one. I don't support that stuff. But whatever. So I was like, okay, this is a nice fur coat. I could get, I think I got like $100 for it, whatever it was. It was made of what the fuck? I can't remember what it was made of. But it was not. It wasn't rabbit. It was something better. It was one of the better animals. Fox. It was fox fur. So it was a little bit better. So then, as we're going through the stuff, we find a picture of the owner, butt naked, with just the coat on. And let me tell you, she wasn't the prettiest one of the bunch, and it was pretty horrifying. It was scary. It was very scary. I almost didn't want to sell the jacket because of that picture. Because I wish, we, like I said, we give all the pictures and stuff back. That must be pretty awkward, though, when you go to pick up your pictures and there's a picture of you naked in just the fur coat. Oh, man. And then in that room, there was mice living under the couch. So I went to move the couch, and there was like mice, and it scared the shit out of me, and there was dead mice everywhere, and it fucking smelled so bad. And one of the biggest nightmares was there was just trash bags and trash bags and trash bags full of clothes. Like, I'm talking, like, you didn't realize how big it was, because we went in there, and we had done some big lockers before, and this one was just big, like, because of the way there was so many garbage bags full of stuff and the furniture was situated, it was like so much stuff. Oh my god. And, okay, let's just go to number one. This one creeped me out, grossed me out, and also just annoyed the shit out of me. Because originally we went, what was the place called? Quag. We went to an auction in Quag because one of the ways I used to do it is I used to look up like the residential income and all that shit. Like, I used to do all this research and I used to buy lockers different. Like I said, I bought bigger lockers, this, that. So Quag had an average household income really high. We go to the auction. It's really far for us. It is like, what? Almost a 2-hour drive, hour and a half? 2-hour drive. We finally get there. It starts fucking snowing hard. There was supposed to be, because we had called that morning, there was supposed to be 7 or 8 units. We get there, there's only 1 unit and 1 boat auction. So we get there. We had not a lot, but we had more money than at the time we were used to having. We had like $1,500. There's only 1 room. It's an outside room. So now we have to stand in this fucking snow, and it was that heavy snow that's all over you. And you get soaked, it sticks on your shoulders as you're walking. And we get to this like little outhouse looking locker. It was actually pretty big, but it like looked like it was just like a shed. It wasn't like a real storage locker like you see in our videos. They open it. There's beautiful stuff. Beautiful furniture, beautiful chandelier, this and that. It ends up going for like $3,000 or something, or close to $3,000. More than we had, more than I would normally ever spend. I've only spent more than $3,000 one time. And this was insane though. Like, the stuff was beautiful. Like, so it was worth it. But that's the area you're getting. But we wouldn't have went if we knew there was only 1 locker, and there was a boat that literally had a fucking hole in the bottom. It was like a rowboat almost. It was like a step up from a rowboat. And that one had a hole in the bottom from being stored there for like 20 years. So that nobody bid on it. That was like a no sale. So we get in the car, and the guy's like, well, we have Islandia, and there's 10 rooms there. We get there. There actually was 10 rooms. The first 5 rooms were like empty. The person just took whatever they wanted and left the garbage behind in the first like 3 or 4 rooms. Then there was a room that had like a tractor. You gotta remember, at this point, it's still snowing. I'm soaked from head to toe. I'm starting to feel like steezy and this shit and that shit. So there's this room. And I guess because I'm annoyed and I really wanted a room, it looked better than it was. Because if I really would have looked, I would have never bought the room. But I was just out of my comfort zone, this and that. So we get in a bidding match with somebody, and we end up winning the room. Okay. And then the nightmare begins. So it's coming down even harder, but we're like an hour and a half away from our house, so we have to load up this stuff. But it gets to the point. Well, let me just get, before I even talk about loading it. We go into the room. The first weird, creepy thing is like these weird dolls there were, but they were like destroyed and nasty. They looked creepy. They creeped me out. Then we saw like a little kid's school desk, and somebody had like screwed into it, like a bunch of times for no reason. But like the screws were like really long screws all the way through. That was weird. And then we started finding the medication. What would we find?
What was it?
What was the medication we were finding?
Oh,
Haldol. There was all Haldol stuff from when I worked in the psychiatric hospital. I remember. I felt, I feel bad, but at the same time it creeps me out. Like, because that maybe, if they were schizophrenic, like what the fuck were they doing? And with the dolls, I don't know. Then we find like personal effects that we gave back, but it was like all these weird diaries with crazy like writing in them. I mean, like we said, I gave them all back. The woman's name was actually, I'm not gonna say it, but the first name was Karen. So we said, like, please give this back to her. She really needs this stuff. I know she was asking for it back, and I was like, listen. So she couldn't take all of it, so we ended up throwing out the stuff she didn't want. But like the gross stuff, the gross part of it was, though, as we were going through some of the boxes, like there was fucking food opened. There was like nasty used like clothes, like like how do you say it? Like bars of soap that were used, shit like that, like all stored though. Like it was creepy. I know she had psychiatric problems. I mean, it's fucked up to talk about, but when when you go in there, that's what I'm trying to say. Like when you don't know what you're gonna get some of the times. Like we opened some of those boxes. It was like, I find food, like usually canned food or this or that, which there was some canned food, but there was also like regular open food, like rotting food. It was disgusting. But like the diaries and the table and the dolls were like, it was creepy. It was really, really creepy and weird and disgusting and annoying, because at the same time it's pouring on us. We ended up like going back the next day, because I talked to the manager. I'm like, listen, actually we ended up coming back a few days after. We almost got banned from that facility because something had happened, like a personal thing had happened, and we had to wait a few days, but they let us clean it out later. But we ended up giving him the stuff back to give to her, and then whatever we didn't want, we went to the dump with. But I was wet, tired, had a fucking headache, and then to find all this crazy shit, it was a weird locker, man. And with that, thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe. We should have a storage adventures coming. Probably. What's today? Wednesday? Thursday. Well, it's gonna be Thursday. It's Thursday. So probably Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because we are buying a room tomorrow. No, we're buying a room Friday. So look for a room. Look for the storage adventures coming Sunday or Monday, maybe even Saturday, depending on how it goes. It is a smaller room, but it has some really awesome stuff. You guys are gonna want to look at that one. It has some throwbacks. Peace out, Lockerheads.